The call came at 3:47 a.m. I remember staring at my phone's screen, watching Mom's name flash urgently as my stomach twisted into knots. Late night calls from family are never good news. My name is Prudence. And that call changed everything. "He's dying," Mom sobbed into the phone. "Ian, the doctors, they don't know what else to try here." I sat up in bed, fully awake now. "What happened? Is he in the hospital?" "It's his heart. They found something during his checkup last week. It's spreading fast and the only specialist who can help is in Singapore." Her voice cracked. "We need help, sweetie. Your father and we've maxed everything out trying to get him treatment." I pulled up my laptop, hands shaking. "How much are we talking about?" "The procedure is $175,000. Dad's voice suddenly came through. They had me on speaker. His usual commanding tone was replaced with something I'd never heard before: desperation. "We've scraped together most of it, but we're still short $87,000. The hospital needs the full amount before they'll schedule surgery." My throat went dry. That was almost everything I had saved since starting my first job at 16. Years of overtime, packed lunches, and saying no to vacations, all sitting in my someday account. "Can't the hospital work out a payment plan?" I asked. "They won't," Mom cut in. "It's experimental. Insurance won't cover it. Please, Prudence, he's your brother." My laptop screen showed my banking app. The numbers felt like they were pulsing. $91,247.83. "Let me talk to Ian," I said. There was shuffling, and then Ian's weak voice came through. "Hey, Prue! Ian, what's happening? Are you in pain?" "Yeah," he whispered. "It comes and goes. The doctors here say without this surgery." He trailed off, and I heard what sounded like a muffled sob. "Send me a video call," I said. "Please, I need to see you." Moments later, my phone lit up with FaceTime. Ian's face appeared, pale and drawn, lying against what looked like hospital pillows. The lighting was dim, but I could see dark circles under his eyes. "The specialist can take me next week," he said, his voice barely audible. "But if we can't pay—" He closed his eyes and a tear rolled down his cheek. "Don't cry," I said automatically, my chest tightening. "We'll figure this out." Dad's voice came back on the line. "The window for this is closing, Prudence. If we don't act now, your brother might not make it to Christmas." I looked at my savings again. The numbers that represented 13 years of careful planning, my dream of opening my own business someday, the security I'd built for myself piece by piece. "How do I know this doctor is legitimate?" I asked. "I'll email you everything," Dad said quickly. "The hospital details, the specialist credentials, all of it. They're highly respected in Asia." My fingers hovered over the keyboard. "If I do this, you'll pay me back, right?" "Of course, sweetie," Mum said. "As soon as we can. You know we're good for it." I did know that. They'd always been comfortable. Nice house, regular vacations, new cars. They'd help me rebuild my savings once this crisis passed. "Okay," I said, my voice smaller than I'd intended. "I'll transfer it now. Send me the account details." "Oh, thank God," Mom breathed. "You're saving his life, Prudence. You're literally saving your brother's life." Dad emailed the banking information while I was still on the phone. International transfer, just as they'd said. I double-checked every number, then took a deep breath. "I love you, Prue," Ian said softly. "I don't know how to thank you." "Just get better," I replied. "That's all I want." I hit confirm on the transfer. $87,000 gone in an instant. A message popped up confirming the transaction was complete. "It's done," I said. The relief in their voices was palpable. Mum was crying again, but happy tears this time. Dad kept saying thank you over and over. Ian had gone quiet, presumably from exhaustion. After we hung up, I sat in the dark, staring at my decimated account balance. The remaining $4,147.83 toll looked almost apologetic, like it knew it wasn't enough to do anything meaningful anymore. "He better survive," I whispered to my empty bedroom, trying to ignore the cold feeling spreading through my chest. He better survive. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I made coffee and started researching flights to Singapore. If my brother was having life-saving surgery there, I wanted to be by his side. Little did I know I wouldn't find any flights that matched the hospital address they'd given me. But that realization was still weeks away. 3 weeks after the transfer, I sat in Dad's study, searching through his filing cabinet for my old W-2 forms. Tax season was here, and I needed to file early. My depleted savings meant I couldn't afford to wait for a refund. Mum was in the kitchen, humming while she cooked Sunday dinner. The house smelled like pot roast, a scent that usually brought comfort, but now just made my stomach turn. "Any updates from Ian?" I called out, rifling through folders. "Oh, he's doing much better," Mum's voice carried down the hallway. "The doctors are very pleased with his progress." I pulled out my phone and checked the latest photo Ian had sent, him giving a thumbs up from what was supposedly his hospital bed. Something about it bothered me, but I couldn't put my finger on what. The bottom drawer of the filing cabinet stuck slightly. As I yanked it open, a manila envelope slipped from between two folders and fell to the floor. It wasn't sealed properly, and several papers spilled out. I reached down to gather them, then froze. The top document was an invoice from a luxury car dealership. Brand new, BMW M4, metallic black, purchased 5 days after my transfer. The buyer's name made my blood run cold. Ian. My hands trembled as I checked the price, $82,000. "Need any help finding those forms?" Mum called. "No." I managed to keep my voice steady. "I'm good." I quickly snapped photos of every page with my phone, then carefully returned them to the envelope. My heart was pounding so hard I could barely breathe. Back at my apartment that night, I pulled up Ian's hospital photo again. This time, I zoomed in on his sunglasses. The reflection showed palm trees and what looked suspiciously like a resort swimming pool. My phone buzzed with a text from Mum. "Ian's feeling stronger today. Doctor says he might come home earlier than expected. You're such a good sister." I didn't respond. Instead, I opened my laptop and started searching. The hospital name they had given me, nothing came up. The specialist credentials, dead ends. The phone number, disconnected. At 2 a.m, I found myself on Ian's Instagram, scrolling through archived posts. 3 weeks ago, he'd been too weak to use social media, but someone had liked a bunch of posts from a resort in Bali, same resort that appeared in his hospital photos. My phone rang, making me jump. It was Ian. "Hey sis," he sounded cheerful. Too cheerful for someone recovering from major heart surgery. "Just wanted to check in. You've been quiet lately." "How's the hospital food?" I asked casually. "Oh, you know, hospital food," he laughed nervously. "Pretty bland." "That's weird," I said, keeping my voice light, "because the resort you're at gets 5 stars for their cuisine on TripAdvisor." Silence. "Prue, I can explain." I hung up. Within seconds, my phone exploded with messages from Mum. Ian just called crying. "You're jumping to conclusions. We can explain everything. Please call us. Don't do anything rash." I turned my phone off and went to my closet. Behind my winter coats was a box of childhood memorabilia. Inside, I found my old bank book from when I was 16. I'd saved every birthday check, every babysitting dollar. The final balance showed $8,940. I logged into my bank's website and checked the historical records. 1 week after I'd turned 18, that account had been emptied. The reason listed: transfer authorised by Guardian. My laptop pinged with an email from Dad. "Prudence, let's discuss this like adults. Your mother is beside herself. Come over tomorrow and we'll explain everything. Family handles things privately. Dad." I opened Ian's hospital photo one more time. The timestamp caught my eye. It had been taken at 3:15 p.m. Bali time. I checked my bank records again. The $87,000 transfer had gone through at exactly 3:12 p.m. Bali time. 3 minutes. He'd waited 3 minutes after getting my money to take a poolside photo. My phone was still buzzing with messages when I turned it back on, but I ignored the family text and opened a different contact instead. Aunt Alexandra, Mum's estranged sister who'd been labelled the troublemaker years ago for accusing my parents of financial misconduct. "Hi, Aunt Alex," I typed, hands shaking. "I think I finally understand why you cut ties with the family. Can we meet?" Her response came immediately. "I've been waiting for this call for years. Coffee tomorrow?" I looked at the growing stack of evidence on my desk. The car invoice, the bank records, the photos. This wasn't just about my savings anymore. This was about years of lies. And I was done being the quiet, reliable daughter they could count on to bail them out. Aunt Alexandra was already waiting when I arrived at the coffee shop, her silver hair pulled back in a neat bun. She stood to hug me, and I caught a whiff of familiar lavender perfume, the same scent from childhood memories I'd almost forgotten. "You look exactly like your mother at your age," she said, then quickly added, "but I suspect you're made of stronger stuff." I pulled out my folder of evidence and spread it across the table. "Tell me everything," she sighed, stirring her coffee. "It started with your grandparents' retirement fund. Your father convinced them to invest in a can't-miss opportunity. Nearly $200,000. Gone. Did they report it? Your mother talked them out of it. Family loyalty above all else, right?" Her voice turned bitter. "When I threatened to go to the police, they turned the entire family against me, said I was jealous, unstable, trying to tear the family apart." I pulled up my banking app. "Look at this. My childhood savings, my graduation money, even my first car fund, all gone." Alexandra nodded grimly. "They've been practicing this playbook for decades. The fake medical emergencies are their specialty. 3 years ago, they pulled the same stunt with your cousin Rachel." "Rachel?" I remembered her. She'd stopped coming to family gatherings years ago. "How much?" $40,000. Same story. Ian needed emergency surgery. That time it was supposedly in Thailand. My hands shook as I opened my laptop. "Help me look through something." Together, we dug through social media posts, public records, and financial documents. A pattern emerged, clear as day, once you knew where to look. Every major family crisis coincided with a luxury purchase. Every emergency fund transfer was followed by vacations. Ian's social media was filled with photos at expensive resorts, always posted shortly after someone in the family had helped with his medical bills. "Here," Alexandra pointed to a photo from 3 years ago. "This is the same resort he's at now. They don't even bother changing their hiding spots." My phone buzzed. Another text from Mom. "Please come home. We're worried about you. Let's talk about this as a family." "They're scared," Alexandra said, reading my expression. "They know you have proof." I opened my email and found a message from Dad, sent at 3 a.m. "Prudence, your mother hasn't slept. This situation is getting out of hand. Whatever you think you've discovered, remember that family matters should stay private. We can work this out. Come home. We'll make it right. Dad." "Make it right?" I laughed hollowly. "They stole my entire future." Alexandra reached across the table and grabbed my hand. "No, they didn't. Your future is still yours, but only if you stop them now." I pulled up a spreadsheet I'd made the night before. "I've documented everything. The fake hospital, the car purchase, the resort bookings. Even found the friend who posed as a doctor during that late night call. He's an actor Ian knows from college." "What are you going to do?" I took a deep breath. "I need a lawyer. And then I'm going to the police." "They'll try to stop you," Alexandra warned. "They'll use every emotional weapon they have." As if on cue, my phone lit up with a photo from Ian, him looking sad in what was clearly his resort room, but with the curtains drawn to make it look more hospital-like. The caption read, "Miss you, sis. Why are you doing this to me?" I turned my phone off. "I have a friend," Alexandra said, pulling out her business card holder. "She's a lawyer who specialises in family financial fraud. She helped me years ago when I tried to protect your grandparents." She wrote a name and number on the back of a card. "Adeline Fisher, attorney at law." "There's something else you should know," Alexandra added quietly. "Your college fund, the one they said was wiped out in a market crash, they used it to pay for Ian's first year at that private university. When he dropped out, they kept the refund." The pieces clicked into place. Why I'd had to work full-time through community college. Why they'd discouraged me from applying to expensive schools. Why they'd insisted I was more practical than Ian. "I found a photo yesterday," I said, pulling it up on my laptop. "From Ian's Instagram 3 years ago. He's at the same resort, same pool, same suite. They've been running this scam over and over." Alexandra squeezed my hand. "You're not alone this time. I'll help you end this." I gathered my evidence back into the folder, adding Alexandra's card. My phone had 37 missed calls and messages when I turned it back on. "They're going to say I'm betraying the family," I said. Alexandra stood up, straightening her jacket. "No, honey, they betrayed you. And it's time they learned that the quiet daughter they've been stealing from isn't so quiet anymore." I nodded. clutching my folder. I'm calling the lawyer today. Good, she said. Because something tells me Ian's miracle recovery is about to make headlines. The bank's fraud investigation department was housed in a sleek downtown building. I sat across from Jason Mills, watching him review my documents with increasing concern. This is, he paused, adjusting his tie, remarkably thorough. Most people don't document family fraud this extensively. I'm not most people, I replied, sliding another folder across his desk. And there's more. Someone's still trying to access my accounts. Jason clicked through his computer. Yes, I see multiple attempted withdrawals in the past week. All declined, thankfully. But they had your security questions right. Of course they did. They're my parents. He leaned forward. Ms. Prudence, I need to be clear. Family financial fraud is complicated. The courts often hesitate when it's parents involved. Are you sure you want to pursue this? I pulled up Ian's latest Instagram story on my phone. Him parasailing in Bali, posted just an hour ago. Pretty sure. All right. Jason started typing. I'm flagging all your accounts for enhanced security. We'll need statements from the last 7 years. Any communications about money and... My phone buzzed. Mum again. The neighbours saw you going into the bank. What are you doing? Please don't destroy this family. I turned the phone off. They're getting nervous, I said. Yesterday, Dad tried to access my investment account. This morning, Mum left a voicemail about adding me to their will, trying to make me feel guilty. Jason nodded grimly. Classic manipulation tactics. We see this a lot. The perpetrators often... A knock interrupted him. His secretary poked her head in. Sorry, but there's a Mr. and Mrs. Harvey insisting on seeing their daughter. They're in the lobby. My heart stopped. They followed me here? Jason pressed his intercom. Call security. Tell them we have unauthorised persons attempting to interfere with a fraud investigation. I peeked through the office blinds. Mum was crying dramatically in the lobby while Daud argued with the receptionist. Classic divide and conquer tactics. Mom playing victim while Dad intimidated. Back entrance? I asked. Jason nodded, gathering my files. Through here. I'll have an officer escort you to your car. As we slipped out the back, my phone vibrated with texts from Ian. They're crying because of you. How could you do this to them? We're your family. You're going to regret this. The security officer walked me to my car. As we turned the corner, I heard Mom's voice. Prudence, please, we can explain everything. I didn't look back. That evening, I met with Adeline, Alexandra's lawyer friend, in her office. She reviewed my evidence with a professional detachment until she reached the childhood account documents. This goes back further than you thought, she said, pulling out more papers. Your parents opened credit cards in your name when you were 16. They've been building this web for years. How did you find that? I ran a full credit check. There's a history of accounts opened and closed, loans taken out and paid off, all using your social security number. My hands shook as I looked at the documents. That's identity theft. Yes. Adeline's voice was firm. And it's prosecutable. My phone lit up with an email from Dad. Your mother is in bed, sick with worry. If you continue this vindictive crusade, remember that you're not just hurting us, you're destroying our family's reputation. Every job application, every background check, every future relationship will show that you turned on your own parents. Is that what you want? Think carefully about your next move. Dad. Adeline read the email over my shoulder. They're escalating. We need to move faster. What's next? She opened her laptop. We file police reports tonight. Tomorrow we meet with the DA's office. I've already contacted the fraud division. They'll say I gave them the money willingly. Under false pretenses, using a documented pattern of deception, she started typing. Trust me, they won't expect their quiet daughter to have this much evidence. My phone buzzed again. A video call from Ian. I almost declined it, but something made me answer. Having fun in Bali? I asked before he could speak. His face fell. Prue, listen. No, you listen. That money was my future, my dreams, everything I worked for since I was 16, and you took it for a vacation and a BMW. We're family. Not anymore. I hung up and turned to Adeline. I want to press charges, all of them. She nodded, pulling out more forms. They'll probably try to contact you at work next. We should talk to your employer's security. Already done. I managed a small smile. I learned to be thorough from watching them cover their tracks all these years. Good. Adeline started filling out police report forms. Because something tells me they're about to learn exactly how much evidence their reliable daughter has been collecting. I looked at my phone one last time before turning it off. 3 missed calls from Mum, 2 from Dad, and a text from Ian. You'll regret choosing money over family. No, I whispered, watching Adeline prepare the criminal complaints. I regret not doing this sooner. The police station smelled like coffee and printer paper. Detective Rivera sat across from me, reviewing my statement for the 3rd time. Let me get this straight, she said, tapping her pen against the desk. They orchestrated a fake medical emergency, complete with an actor playing a doctor, to get your savings. I pushed the folder of evidence across her desk. Plus identity theft going back to when I was 16, credit cards, loans, accounts, all in my name without my knowledge. She flipped through the documents, eyebrows rising. This is unusually well documented. I learned from watching them cover their tracks. My phone buzzed. Another text from Mum. There are 2 police cars outside our house. Is this what you want? To see your parents in handcuffs? Detective Rivera noticed my expression. They're still contacting you? Constantly. Dad showed up at my workplace yesterday. Security had to escort him out. She made a note. We'll add harassment to the charges. Now, about the BMW purchase. A commotion in the hallway interrupted us. I recognised Mum's voice immediately. That's my daughter in there. I have a right to see my daughter. Detective Rivera pressed a button on her desk. Officer, please remove Mrs. Harvey from the premises and remind her that attempting to interfere with a witness giving a statement is a criminal offence. I heard Mom's theatrical sobs fade away as they escorted her out. You okay? Detective Rivera asked. Better than okay, I replied, pulling out my laptop. I have something else to show you. I opened a folder labelled Family Finance Records and turned the screen toward her. Every transaction, every transfer, every fake emergency for the past 7 years, including what they did to my cousin Rachel. Her eyes widened as she scrolled through the spreadsheets. This is extensive. I'm not their first victim, I said, just the first one to fight back. Back at my apartment, I packed quickly and efficiently. 1 suitcase, 1 laptop bag, essential documents. Adeline had arranged a temporary place for me to stay, somewhere my family couldn't find me. My phone kept lighting up with messages. Mum. The police are taking your father's computer. How could you do this to us? Ian. They're freezing my accounts. I hope you're happy. Dad. You've destroyed this family. Was revenge worth it? I turned off my phone and slipped it into my bag. The new burner phone Adeline had given me felt strange in my pocket, but it was necessary. Alexandra arrived to drive me to my new location. You ready? Almost. I sat at my desk and opened my laptop one last time. The document I'd been working on was already open. The dutiful daughter files, a story of family financial fraud. I attached all the evidence, bank statements, photos, text messages, everything, and sent it to the email address Carmen Burton, an investigative journalist Alexandra had connected me with. It's done, I said, closing my laptop. Alexandra helped me carry my bags to her car. As we pulled away from my apartment, I saw Dad's car turning into the complex. We passed him without him recognising Alexandra's vehicle. They're panicking, Alexandra said, checking her rearview mirror. The police seized their computers this morning. Your mother's been calling everyone in the family playing victim. Let her, I replied. The evidence speaks for itself. We drove to a small cottage on the outskirts of town, a rental property owned by one of Adeline's clients. No paper trail, no connection to me. The police will need you to testify, Alexandra said as she helped me unpack. Are you ready for that? I've been ready since I found that car invoice. I pulled out my new phone. Any word from Jason at the bank? He called while you were at the police station. They found evidence of more fraud. Your parents tried to take out a home equity loan using forged documents in your name last week. I sat on the bed, letting that sink in. Even now, they're still trying to steal from me. Alexandra squeezed my shoulder. But they didn't expect you to fight back. They thought you were the safe one, the reliable one, the one who had always put family first. I did put family first, I said, opening my laptop to check my email. I'm putting a stop to them before they can hurt anyone else in the family. A new email popped up from Carmen. Story runs tomorrow. Are you sure you want to go public with this? I thought about all the years of manipulation, the stolen dreams, the lies. I thought about Rachel and the other relatives they'd scammed. I thought about Mom's theatrical sobs in the police station and Dad's threatening emails. My reply was short. Yes. It's time everyone knew the truth about the perfect Harvey family. Alexandra read the email over my shoulder. There's no going back after this. Good, I said, hitting send, because I'm done being the daughter they could count on to keep their secrets. Carmen's article hit the local news website at 6 a.m. By noon, it was trending nationally. I watched from my hideout as my family's carefully constructed facade crumbled in real time. Family financial fraud. The dark truth behind the perfect family spread like wildfire across social media. Carmen had done a masterful job, laying out the evidence in devastating detail. My burner phone rang. It was Jason from the bank. Your father just tried to withdraw everything from their accounts, he said without preamble. We stopped it, but he's threatening legal action against the bank. Let me guess. Mum was crying in the lobby. Actually, she's been calling our corporate office non-stop. Claims we're destroying her family by cooperating with police. I opened my laptop to check the news comments. People were coming forward with their own stories about my family. They did the same thing to me in 2019, Ian's emergency surgery in Thailand. I worked at their country club. They always had money for new cars, but couldn't pay their membership fees. Went to high school with Ian. He bragged about scamming his sister. My email inbox was flooding with messages from old acquaintances. Your mom borrowed $5,000 for Ian's medical treatment last year. Your dad convinced my parents to invest in a fake business venture. I saw Ian at a casino the day after his supposed surgery. Alexandra called next. Have you seen the morning news? Not yet. Turn it on. Now. I flipped to the local station. There was Mom, mascara running, clutching Dad's arm as they pushed through reporters outside their house. My daughter is mentally unstable, she sobbed into the microphones. She's always been jealous of her brother. This is a terrible misunderstanding. The camera cut to Ian, trying to hide his face as he rushed to his BMW. A reporter called out, Is it true you were in Bali, spending your sister's money, while claiming to need emergency surgery? My new phone buzzed with a text from Carmen. Police just froze all their assets. Your brother's trying to sell the BMW. I switched to social media. My anonymous blog post, The Dutiful Daughter Files, had gone viral. The comments were overwhelming. This happened to me too. My parents did the same thing. Thank you for speaking up. Detective Rivera called next. We've had 12 more people come forward with similar stories about your family. How far back do your records go? 7 years of detailed documentation, I replied. But Aunt Alexandra has evidence from before that. Good, because your father's trying to claim all the transfers were gifts. We'll need... She was interrupted by another call coming through, a number I recognised. I switched lines. Rachel. My cousin's voice was thick with emotion. I just read the article. I should have spoken up when they did it to me. Maybe if I had. It's not your fault, I said. They were good at making us feel powerless. They're telling everyone you're having a mental breakdown, that you've always been unstable, jealous, desperate for attention. I laughed bitterly. Let them. The evidence speaks for itself. My laptop pinged with a new email from Dad. You've destroyed everything we built. Your mother can't stop crying. The neighbours won't look at us. Ian's job is calling about his employment. Is this what you wanted? To tear apart your family? It's not too late to fix this. Call off the police. Tell them it was a misunderstanding. We can work this out privately, as a family. Don't make us do something we'll all regret. Dad. I forwarded the email to Detective Rivera with one line. Add witness intimidation to the charges. Alexandra texted, Turn on Channel 7. I did. There was Ian, cornered by reporters outside a luxury car dealership, trying to negotiate a quick sale of his BMW. The caption read, Brother and family fraud scandal attempting to liquidate assets. My phone lit up with a voicemail from Mum. How could you do this to us? We're your family. I played it for Carmen, who was working on a follow-up story. Her response was immediate. This is gold. Mind if I use it? Use everything, I replied. No more family secrets. A new email arrived from Rachel's mother, my Aunt Patricia. I should have believed Alexandra years ago. I'm so sorry, Prudence. How can I help? I forwarded her contact information to Detective Rivera. Another piece of the puzzle, another witness to their years of fraud. My laptop showed a news update. Local family under investigation for decades of financial fraud. The photo showed my parents' house with police cars outside. Carmen called again. You might want to see this. Your brother just posted on Instagram. I pulled up his profile. His latest post showed him at the airport, passport in hand. The caption, "Sometimes you need to start fresh. Goodbye, America." I forwarded the post to Detective Rivera with 2 words. He's running. Her response was immediate. Already on it. Border Patrol has been notified. I closed my laptop and looked around the quiet cottage. Somewhere across town, my family's carefully constructed world was imploding. And for the first time in years, I felt free. The courthouse steps were crowded with reporters when I arrived. Alexandra walked beside me, her hand steady on my arm. 3 months had passed since the story broke, and today was the arraignment. "Miss, are you going to testify against your family?" a reporter called out. "How long had they been stealing from you?" shouted another. Adeline appeared, parting the crowd. "No questions. My client will make a statement after the hearing." Inside, I saw them for the first time since everything exploded. Mom, Dad and Ian sat with their lawyer, all in conservative suits, playing the part of the respectable family. Ian had been caught trying to board a flight to Indonesia. Now he was wearing an ankle monitor. Mum's eyes were red-rimmed, perfectly matching her victim narrative. She tried to catch my gaze. "Prudence, sweetie, please." "Mrs. Harvey," the bailiff warned, "no contact with the witness." Detective Rivera met us outside the courtroom. We found more victims. The DA is adding charges of elder financial abuse. Apparently, they've been stealing from your grandmother's nursing home fund. I watched Mom dab her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief, still playing the grieving mother. "She gave an interview yesterday," Alexandra said. "Claimed you had a history of mental illness and were making everything up for attention." "The bank records say otherwise," Adeline added, opening her briefcase. Speaking of which, the forensic accountants finished their report. The total amount they've stolen over the years. She handed me a document. I stared at the number. $847,000. "That's just what we can prove," Detective Rivera said. "There's probably more." The judge called the court to order. I sat in the front row, watching as the charges were read. Multiple counts of fraud. Identity theft. Elder financial abuse. Witness intimidation. Dad's lawyer entered their pleas. "Not guilty, Your Honour." Mum turned around, mouthing "please, baby" at me. I stared straight ahead. The prosecutor stood. "Your Honour, we have evidence the defendants are still attempting to access frozen accounts and contact witnesses. We request their bail be revoked." Chaos erupted. Mum began sobbing dramatically. Dad's face turned red as he argued with his lawyer. Ian slumped in his chair, the ankle monitor visible above his dress shoes. "Order!" The judge banged his gavel. "Bail is revoked. Deputies, take the defendants into custody." As they led my family away, Dad looked back at me. "This isn't what family does, Prudence." "You're right," I replied, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Family doesn't steal from family." Outside, Carmen was waiting with more news. "Your blog has gone viral internationally. People are sharing similar stories from all over. You've started a movement." My phone buzzed with a text from Jason. "Bank's fraud department found more accounts. They were stealing from your college fund even before you were 18. Another message popped up from Rachel. "They're taking Mum and Dad away in handcuffs. It's all over the local news." I opened my laptop and pulled up my blog. The latest post had thousands of comments. "You gave me courage to report my parents' fraud. Finally, someone is talking about family financial abuse. Thank you for showing us we're not alone." Alexandra touched my arm. "Ready for your statement to the press?" I nodded, following her to the courthouse steps. Cameras flashed as I approached the microphones. "My name is Prudence," I began, "and I'm here to tell you about what happens when family loyalty becomes a weapon." The story spread like wildfire. By evening, national news networks were covering it. My parents' mugshots appeared on screen as anchors discussed family financial abuse. Back at the safe house, I received an email from Dad's sister, my Aunt Margaret. I should have spoken up years ago. They did the same thing to me in 2015. I have records. Tell me how I can help. Another victim. Another piece of evidence. My phone rang. It was Detective Rivera. We found offshore accounts. Your father had been funneling money for years. The FBI is getting involved. I looked at my laptop screen, at the growing movement my story had sparked. The latest blog post title read, "The Dutiful Daughter Files Breaking the Silence on Family Financial Abuse." Alexandra brought dinner and sat with me. "How are you holding up?" "I keep thinking about Mom's performance in court," I said. "The tears, the dramatic pleas, she's still trying to manipulate everyone." "But it's not working anymore," Alexandra replied. "You broke their power when you broke your silence." My new phone buzzed with a message from Carmen. Tomorrow's headline: Family Fraud Ring Exposed. How one daughter's stand revealed decades of deception. I closed my eyes, remembering that late night call about Ian's emergency surgery. How far away that felt now. "They never thought I'd fight back," I said quietly. Alexandra squeezed my hand. That was their biggest mistake. Outside, reporters were still camped out, waiting for more statements. Inside, I was finally free from the weight of family secrets. And somewhere in the county jail, my parents were learning that their perfect, quiet daughter had found her voice. The verdict came down like thunder in the packed courtroom. Guilty on all counts. Mum collapsed into theatrical sobs. Dad stared straight ahead, jaw clenched. Ian's ankle monitor beeped as he shifted nervously in his seat. "The defendants will remain in custody until sentencing," the judge continued. "Given the severity and duration of these crimes, this court intends to impose the maximum penalties allowed by law." I sat between Alexandra and Adeline, watching my family's carefully constructed facade finally shatter completely. The prosecution had presented a devastating case. Hundreds of documents, dozens of witnesses, years of systematic fraud exposed. Detective Rivera leaned forward from the row behind me. "They found more offshore accounts this morning. The restitution order will be substantial." Outside the courthouse, Carmen waited with updates. "Your story has sparked legislative changes. 3 states are now proposing stronger laws against family financial abuse." The Dutiful Daughter Files had become more than just my story. It was a movement, a voice for countless silent victims. My inbox was filled with messages. "Your courage helped me confront my own family's fraud." "I finally reported my parents after reading your blog." "You showed me I wasn't crazy or ungrateful for speaking up." Rachel appeared through the crowd, hugging me tight. "They're talking plea deals now. Mum and Dad are ready to testify about all the other scams." My phone buzzed. A message from Jason at the bank. "Final forensic report complete. Total fraud amount, $1.2 million over 15 years. Recovery process starting." Adeline touched my arm. "Ready for the press conference?" I nodded. Approaching the microphones? Cameras flashed as I began. "Today isn't about revenge. It's about truth. It's about saying that family loyalty shouldn't mean silent suffering. It's about breaking the cycle of abuse that hides behind the word family." A reporter raised her hand. "Your mother claims you've destroyed the family. Your response?" "They destroyed the family when they chose fraud over love. I'm just refusing to be their victim anymore." Back at my apartment, my real apartment, no more hiding, Alexandra helped me sort through letters from supporters. A thick envelope caught my eye, documentation from the FBI about more victims, more schemes, more lies unravelling. "They found evidence going back 20 years, Alexandra said. "Your parents had been doing this long before you were born." My phone rang, Detective Rivera again. "Ian's lawyer is offering a full confession in exchange for a lighter sentence. He wants to meet." I thought about my brother, the golden child who'd spent my savings on cars and vacations. "No deals. Let him face the consequences." Carmen called next. "Major publisher wants to turn your blog into a book. They're calling it Breaking the Family Fraud Chain." I opened my laptop, scrolling through the latest comments on my blog. "You gave me strength to press charges against my own parents. Finally, someone understands what financial abuse does to a family. Your story saved me from giving away my retirement to help my children." A new email arrived from Dad. "You've won. We're ruined. I hope you're satisfied. Dad." I forwarded it to Detective Rivera with one line. "Add it to the evidence file." Alexandra brought coffee and sat beside me. The restitution hearing is next week. They'll have to pay back everything they stole. It was never about the money, I said, closing my laptop. It was about the lies, the manipulation, the way they used family as a weapon. My phone lit up with a text from Rachel. Mum just confessed to 3 more scams. The prosecutors are adding charges. The family empire was crumbling brick by brick. Every day brought new revelations, new victims, new evidence of decades of fraud. I opened my final blog post. To everyone who's been told to stay quiet for the sake of family. To everyone who's been called ungrateful for questioning financial abuse. To everyone who's been manipulated by tears and guilt, and blood is thicker than water. Your voice matters, your truth matters. And sometimes the strongest family loyalty is saying no more. The responses poured in immediately. You've started a revolution. Finally, someone put into words what we couldn't say. Thank you for showing us the way out, Alexandra read over my shoulder. You did it. You really did it. We did it, I corrected. All of us who refused to stay silent. My phone showed one last notification, a message from the FBI. Evidence secured. Additional charges pending. Thank you for your courage. I closed my eyes, remembering that desperate late-night call about Ian's surgery. How far I'd come from being the quiet, reliable daughter they could always count on to keep their secrets. They were right about one thing, I said to Alexandra. I was the perfect daughter, perfect at exposing their lies. Outside, life went on. Inside, I was finally free, not just from their fraud, but from the weight of being the family secret keeper. I was their favourite victim, not anymore.